Hey, welcome to the Second Draft. It's your somewhat regular podcast and YouTube channel where we discuss the finer things in life, including sports, movies, and most importantly, beer. Speaking of which, Alex, what are we
Yes.
drinking this week?
This week I've got something new from Firestone Walker that I've never seen before
Mm-hmm.
called Leo versus Ursus. I just cracked it open. Check it
Interesting.
out.
What
It's
kind of beer is
pretty,
it?
it's a really punchy IPA. I had no idea when I grabbed the can, which this is just like a can pint.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, unfiltered Imperial IPA. Fordham, it says. Fordham unfiltered. I don't know if it's a type of like a descriptor for a specific type of IPA, but they have it blasted all over the place
Right on.
on the can. So I don't know. It's pretty cool.
Cool. Have you tried it yet?
Nope, about to try it right now.
Yeah. All right. Crack that son of a bitch
Cheers.
open. Salud. Those of you
Salute.
drinking at home.
Yeah. Never
This
drink
week,
alone. Start a podcast with your cousin and start
exactly.
drinking alone.
This week I'm drinking the Pacific Wonderland from Deschutes Brewery. It's a pilsner. It's a lager, but it tastes like an ale. It drinks like an ale. It's citrus, floral. It's interesting because it's hoppy but not bitter, but it's still got that little bit of the traditional pilsner finish from that kind of bitter, like the malt they use. Those of you who are familiar with Budweiser or Coors will know what I'm talking about. Um, it's powered by Hallertau Hercules and Hallertau Mittelfrüh hops, but it gets its floral citrusy flavor from Netang Mandarina. So it's quite good. It's golden. It's very light. It's sessionable at 5.5% ABV, and IBUs are barely noticeable. It's like 40%. So it's
It's like
delicious.
this.
Highly recommended. It's from Bend and Portland, Oregon. Deschutes.
Yeah, I love everything out of Deschutes for the most part. I haven't had that one yet though. I'm looking forward to it. This one's
Yeah.
a 8.2. I'm not really sure on Yule hot build, but
Yeah. 8.2.
yeah, it's
Good
punchy.
lord,
It's up
sir!
there.
You're drinking
Yeah,
wine.
yeah, exactly.
How is it?
It's not bad. It's good. It's really light in color,
Nice. Yeah. Looks
but
a
it
little
goes down
hazy.
really smooth. It doesn't have the bite that you usually get from Imperials. Like I've been having a lot of the New Belgium Voodoo Ranger line. All of them to me are just very bitter. I mean, I like them, I enjoy them, but really over the top. So
Right.
this is pretty approachable from an IPA Imperial level.
Nice. Right on.
That Pilsner thing though reminds me of like Beechwood. That's all I ever think about is I did the tour in Foco one time and they kept talking about Beechwood. It was like their thing.
Okay. What was the thing about Beechwood?
I don't know, Beechwood or birch chips. Maybe it's birch chips. I'll
Interesting.
look it up.
All right. So, for those of you just joining us, this is actually the inaugural podcast slash YouTube channel video. So, it's been a long time coming. The website has actually been online for a little while. We've got a little bit of content. It's at theseconddraft.com, and we're going to put the URL down there at the bottom for you so you guys can check it out. We're also on Twitter, making asses of ourselves on a regular basis. And there's a lot of stuff to cover this week. It's been an interesting week because the NFL, of course, is starting with training camps. All the teams are reporting to training camps this week, and the weeks leading up to training camp have been filled with drama, particularly for the Dallas Cowboys. So, should we
Lucky.
get Lucky Whitehead? Should we get right into it?
Yeah, yeah, let's do it.
All right. So, a little bit of backstory for Lucky Whitehead. Earlier this month, he took to Instagram and made a public statement saying that his dog Blitz, a pit bull puppy, had been kidnapped. Apparently, somebody he knew had broken into his house, stole the dog, and ran off with it. And he reached out to the public to see if anybody had any information to try and help him get his puppy back. Uh, Later that week, a Dallas-based rapper named Bugazzi Casino
Oh man, what a
yeah,
great rap name.
yeah, posted a video on social media in possession of the dog. Had the dog. We're not going to link the video or show the video because it's quite colorful in its language. But yeah, he was demanding $20,000, not as a ransom for the dog, but
Just
to
selling it.
well, allegedly he wanted the $20,000 he initially paid for the dog after he learned that a dog belonged to Lucky. Yeah.
He wanted, and he was just gonna sell it to anybody.
No, he called like Lucky Whitehead straight out in the video and said, "Hey, I've got your dog. cuss word, cuss word, racial slur. I want
Wow.
$20,000 for it because that's what I paid for it. And I mean, my first reaction was, cute dog, but who pays $20,000 for a pit bull?
People are,
Anyway,
are fiercely protective of baby pit bulls, man.
they're
It's like the
adorable
people that
dogs. I
have like
mean,
a shameful kind of guilty pleasure and they just like adamantly argue that. That's pit bull owners.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
they're like the people that like black licorice or something, like, no, it's good, I
Black licorice
swear.
is
You just
fucking delicious, man. What are you
yeah,
talking about?
yeah. You don't have the taste buds for it. That's
Well, I
you
mean, you could
just
say the
don't
same thing
yeah.
about IPAs, really.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. But more people like IPAs. But anyway, I'm derailing this that's a little
No, that's what we're
fun
all
aside.
about here. Yeah, the
Yeah.
more we drink, the faster this level of beer goes down, the further away from the topic we're gonna get. So
So
buckle in,
back to
everybody. It's a
Bugazi.
it's a bullet train to nowhere.
It is.
So yeah, Bukazi Casino. Lucky Whitehead. He was eventually reunited with the dog after paying an undisclosed sum to Bukazi Casino. The rumor is he didn't pay the full $20,000 that was requested of him, but he
Okay.
did he did pay a sum and he was reunited with his dog. So that was a happy ending. But less than a week later, after all that was settled, on July 24th, which was I believe it was Monday of this week, um, news broke publicly that Lucky Whitehead was wanted for not appearing for his arraignment on charges of petty larceny in Prince William County, Virginia. So
Okay, first of all, what is he doing in Virginia?
I know, I mean,
Is it
yeah,
his
like
hometown? I don't.
it's really close to OTA time. You're supposed to probably be close enough where you can check in with the team and be ready to go. But yeah, the news broke. He obviously sat down with the team, sat down with head coach Jason Garrett in particular, and he pled his innocence. He said, "Oh, I swear to you, like this wasn't me; it was somebody else." The team flat out said that they didn't believe him, and he was released from the team within like 2 or 3 hours of the news breaking. Like they just cut him loose, and that was it. The very next day, Prince William County Police issued a statement exonerating Lucky Whitehead from the charges, saying that it was actually a case of mistaken identity, and the man that they arrested was, in fact, not Lucky Whitehead. This is where it gets weird. The man they arrested provided the police, not having any identification on him, with Lucky Whitehead's name, his date of birth, and his social security number.
What? Like, let me just pick out some random combination of numbers and hopefully it matches with this dude. No way. He has to
I
know
mean,
him, right? He's got to be a friend.
exactly, yeah, and that's obviously a red flag, and I'm sure that's one of the factors that played into the Dallas Cowboys not reconsidering bringing him back on board is the fact that clearly this guy knew Lucky, maybe had it out for him in some way. I don't know, but the dude in just a very small window has proven himself to be a lightning rod for drama. I mean, and a lot of people want to demonize and villainize the Dallas Cowboys for releasing him, saying that they should have been more fair to him, should have listened to his pleas of innocence, and they should have apologized for releasing him even though he was innocent. But at the same time, it's a business. I mean, the Dallas Cowboys have worked really hard to generate some sort of goodwill, especially this past season. And drama coming from various different places is threatening to tear that goodwill down. And they can't afford to do that. Not now. Not when the team is in full swing. Like, they're favorites to take the division, maybe go deep in the playoffs. Like, they've got a lot of things going on, and plus they've got that drama from Ezekiel Elliott,
Zeke,
which is
yeah.
still not cleared up. Like it's still unclear as to whether or not the league is going to suspend him for an indeterminate amount of time because of the domestic violence incident, which allegedly happened in college, his days at Ohio State.
Mhm.
And now his most recent charges of I think it was misdemeanor speeding or something, where he's actually appealing the charges.
I
But
thought his
anyway,
domestic violence thing got dropped. I thought that was closed.
uh,
I mean,
uh,
obviously, it does. Regardless, it doesn't look good for him to continuously be in trouble. But you
right.
know,
The thing is the police investigation and the NFL's investigations are two separate things. So he may be free and clear of the charges from the police, but the NFL conducts their own investigation and determines whether or not his conduct is worthy of being
mhm.
suspended or not.
Yeah, like
So
conduct unbecoming a NFL
conduct
athlete.
unbecoming is
Yeah,
exactly the term. Yeah, right.
yeah.
So yeah, like I said, everybody wants to villainize the Cowboys for releasing Lucky Whitehead, but you got to see their side of it as well. Like the dude has clearly got some shit going on, and I think cutting the team and getting him away from Dallas and the entire situation he's got going on there is good for him, and it's also good for the team just to just distance that, just get rid of that drama, that extra little bit of drama they don't need to deal with. So Lucky Whitehead has been picked up by the New York Jets. So I think it's actually a good thing for him in the end. I think it's far enough removed from all the shit that's happening in Dallas. I mean, their roster right now is anemic anyway, so I feel like him going there is going to make him a bit of a star. Like, hopefully that won't affect him in a negative way, but I think it's a better situation for him than kind of being like a second fiddle in Dallas anyway. So
Yeah, and being a kind of an outlier there after all this drama. Yeah,
right,
that makes
exactly.
sense.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd
So
still, if I were him, I'd rather play for Dallas. But
oh
I
yeah,
mean,
hell yeah, dude. I wouldn't choose to
they're
play
hot
for
coming into
for
this
the
year. They've got so
Jets.
much
Jesus.
talent, so much talent.
Yeah. No, I mean, we can get to that later if we want to do predictions at some point. But
Sure,
I think the Dallas Cowboys are probably going to take the division. I think.
they've got a chance for sure.
Yeah.
Based on what we saw last year, I mean, these are the only things that we have to go on. But I didn't see anybody play with quite so much, fire behind them as the Cowboys, especially
Right.
kind of late in the season.
Right. Exactly. And again, that's part of the goodwill they've been building up, both in terms of publicity and being an all around good team. Aside from Ezekiel Elliott and now Lucky Whitehead, I mean, most of the team is keeping their noses clean. So it's not fair to subjugate the rest of the team to a media, maelstrom surrounding that type of thing. You don't want players who are coming into training camp having to answer questions about Lucky Whitehead or Ezekiel Elliott. You want to keep everything clean and clear and keep everybody focused and not have that cloud hanging over their heads. So if you've got that opportunity to get rid of that cloud and ship it off to New York, that's the business.
Do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure it wasn't a hard conversation for him to have with the Jets. Like, hey man, are you are you guilty of doing all these things? No, I already told the police I'm exonerated. No.
Right.
Okay, cool. We're gonna bring you on. They can play dumb, and they can do their own kind of investigation, or allow the police to handle it. But I mean, let's move on after that. My
Right.
question is,
Right.
where the hell does Lucky get these friends? Because
I don't
like
know, man.
it's got to be somebody that he knows, like breaks into his house and takes his puppy. Like he probably had a house party, had some friends over. Somebody's like, wow, damn, that's a cute puppy. And he goes, yeah, well, I spent so much money on this thoroughbred baby pit bull.
He was like, I bet I
Oh,
can get more than that on the black market.
I bet I know this guy named
Casino.
Casino.
Bugatti
What's his name?
Casino.
Bugatti Casino.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I'm gonna start my rap career shortly and name myself Ferrari Blackjack.
Ferrari Blackjack is pretty good. It's not bad. You
Kind of sounds
can
like a
keep
James
going.
Bond villain.
It's better than
I'll
Corvette
call
Craps.
myself oh, that was gonna be my thing. I was gonna be a Corvette Craps or yeah. Ford Taurus slot machine.
Oh yeah, we could go on for days.
Oh yeah.
That's. I'm gonna come up with like the best one, and I'm gonna try to. I'll lay it on you later once I figure it out.
Just throw it out there randomly and just make me laugh and ruin this entire video / podcast. Just do it.
It's good. Okay, yeah, I'll do my best. I've got to simmer on it for a bit.
Nice.
Yeah. Anyway,
So moving on, the next big thing that's been happening lately is the New York Times recently released a study about CTE. We're going to bring it down a little bit. We're going to get a little more serious about the NFL type stuff right now. CTE, of course, is chronic traumatic endocephalopathy. It's obviously been in the news quite a bit. There was a Will Smith movie called Concussion, which centered around the neurologist who discovered it. The study from the New York Times consisted of, it was over 200 football players, 111 of which were NFL players, all deceased, all people who had whose families had donated the brains to science. 110 of them came back positive for CTE.
110 out of 111.
Yeah, so 99%.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. It was a neuropathologist called Dr. Ann McKee, and again, she examined 202 football players, and of the NFL players, 99% came back positive. The number one ranked position for testing positive was, of course, lineman, who run the most chance of contact, obviously physical contact, and repeated blows to the head during the course of a game. Running backs are actually number two. 20 of the brains studied were running backs, and they all came back positive. 17 were defensive backs. So, and the list goes down and down. But linemen, again, the dudes who were, right in the trenches, physically manhandling or being manhandled and engaging in fierce physical contact with other players, they came back with the highest count.
I would assume it would be linebackers and running backs above linemen, but I guess that makes sense. I mean,
You would think so, but yeah, it's linemen. So
if you take into consideration like traps, counters, any pulling play, it makes sense that any guards or tackles might have some serious risk of that.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable. That's insane. 99%.
Yeah. To be fair, though, of the sample size, only players who were suspected of having CTE symptoms were submitted for the study. It's not like 99% of all NFL players will at some point suffer from symptoms of CTE. It was only players who were suspected of having the symptoms before their death that were submitted for the study. It's not to say that every single football player ever is going to suffer from CTE. It was definitely a concentrated sample size. But all of them that exhibited, well, virtually all of them that exhibited symptoms actually came back positive. So
I'd be curious what the demographics are for that, because, in my opinion, the technology that we have now and the safety equipment that is being provided to football players now is obviously it's leagues ahead of what we had
right.
Even 20 years ago. So
right, yeah.
I would be
we've got
surprised
helmets now with the crowns and whatnot that shock absorption and all that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the players that aged in the study were from 23 years of age to 89 years of age. So it was young kids who died of unnatural causes, car crashes and so forth. Kids that died prematurely, all the way up to like Hall of Famers and people who have been retired from the league for a number of years, even decades. So it was a wide sample size in terms of age, but again, it was a concentrated sample. So it's not fair, like I said, to say that all NFL players will suffer from this, but it's definitely prevalent. It's definitely
sure.
serious. So obviously, the thing just came back, or the study was just released this week. So there was a number of reactions, both from fans, from officials, from team owners, and especially players. Tyrann Mathieu actually posted a reaction to the study on Twitter, and his only reaction was a one-word response, and it was, damn. Which is pretty much what I'm reaction to hearing the news. Another notable one was Carolina linebacker Thomas Davis. His quote was, and I've actually got the quote in front of me, I would be lying if I said I didn't get nervous about that stat, but this game, I just love it so much. Which brings up an interesting question. And I want to pose this question to you because, you played football in high school. Your father played football in high school, college, semi-pro, had himself a pro day back in the day. He was a safety. You're recently engaged, looking to get married this fall, which means you're likely going to have kids at some point. And
sure.
My question to you is twofold. Knowing about this study and knowing what you know now, would you still have played football in high school? And will you let your kids at some point, if they want to, play football?
Speaking for myself first, 100% yes, I would still play. I mean, if you asked me in high school and gave me some kind of scare tactic, like, I'm not saying that this is a scare tactic of any kind. It's obviously just science. It's being done for legitimate reasons. I fully believe that they should be doing these tests. But if you told me in high school, maybe I would have considered probably for a whole 30 minutes and then stowed it away again because I just love the game.
You just lined right back up. Yeah.
Yeah, I just line back up. I mean, when you play from a really, really young age, I think I started when I was, 9 or 10, maybe a little bit later. Most people start around that age or a little bit closer to high school. Mm-hmm. When you play for so long and you enjoy the sport so much, it's just second nature. You learn very early on when you do hitting drills, you run bull ring or Oklahoma drills, you're going to get your bell rung. It's literally the expression that's used all the time. And coaches do this on purpose. They put one kid in the middle of a ring of other fully padded kids and throw them at one another, where 9 out of 10 times the first contact that you're going to get is either a shoulder to the helmet or a helmet to the helmet.
Mm-hmm.
And it teaches you to be tough so that when you actually get hurt or you get tackled in a game, you can pop back up and keep going. It's
Right.
not to purposefully give kids headaches and see how they can run while they're dizzy. That's not really it's not the concept.
Right.
I think kids wise, I think that, like I said earlier, the technology is coming together. I think the helmets that are available now are even better than what they were when I was playing some years ago. And I would have, I would be fully able to encourage my kids to play.
So you would let your kids play? You would?
Yeah, definitely. I think I don't think that it's something that would rob you of, because I played for years and years, and like I haven't experienced anything remotely similar to memory loss, concussions, wild headaches, or anything like that. So
what about confusion, depression, or dementia? Those are some
no,
of the other symptoms that CTE sufferers exhibit.
I will fess up to being confused all the time in my daily life, but I don't
Well,
think it has
yeah,
anything to do with football.
that comes from being in your late 20s and being engaged and you're having a lot of trouble
Sure.
with that. Are you sure you don't have CTE?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm confused right now.
Uh,
I forgot about
finish
that
beer, turn
earlier.
off the webcam, and go get an MRI.
I'll be back in 3 days.
Okay.
Um,
All right. I'll keep the ship rolling without you. You can just jump back in whenever you get home. Yeah.
sure, sure. Yeah,
So
no,
you so
I
sorry,
think
go
I
ahead.
think as far as sports goes, I'll be stoked if I have a son and that son wants to play football. But because it's just always been a thing. My dad lived for football. I was raised on it. I love football. Like, it's
Yeah.
my favorite things. Uh, I won't like push my kids into playing or the opposite. I'm just
Mhm.
gonna kind of let them decide. But I don't think the CTE thing throws me for enough of a loop to say, okay, it's a guaranteed thing, or you
Right.
know,
Right.
and even when I was in high school, coaches were starting to taper off that. We wouldn't do massive hitting drills except for the first 2 weeks when we got pads, when we started to pad up after the summer.
Right.
That's when they throw you in and get you acclimated to getting hit again. Because no matter what, I mean, some kids just like naturally snap back into it and they're ready to tackle,
Mm-hmm.
but everybody kind of has that hesitancy because you're not accustomed to your body getting purposefully hurt.
Right. Right.
And it's not something that you don't like. Eventually, 3 weeks in, you're just like, okay, another hitting drill, cool, let's do it. Let me get fired up and show the coaches something here,
Mm-hmm.
or make sure that my form is right. But at the beginning of the season, it's like that's all you do for 2 or 3 days of practices,
Just
hitting
learning
drill
how
after
to
hitting.
learning how to tackle properly, how to protect yourself properly, and just
Hmm.
toughen up and get adjusted to it. Yeah.
My dad used to tell me stories about just like he didn't really care how he came at somebody. He'll come out head first at their
I've heard the
knees, at their
stories. Yeah.
ankles, at their hip and shoulders, whatever it took to take somebody down and hit them harder than anybody else on the team could.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how he made, his place on the team.
Right.
Nowadays, if you try to do that into practice, like if I tried to do that even in high school, I would have been running the entire day. You
Right.
throw your head down when you tackle somebody, you're sitting out in the next two hitting drills, and you're running up and down the field. You're
Right.
conditioning, and the coaches are going to watch you double time next time you're up.
Right.
You got to keep your head up, put your head on the right side of the body. Make sure that your form is right. You're not arm tackling somebody. You're not pinching your neck. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they're good about it. They know the risk, especially with head injuries, neck injuries, anything like that.
Right. So my next question would be: do you think the NFL should soften the rules on tackling and hitting in OTAs in training camp? And I know a lot of coaches would agree with me. I know, like for example, Bruce Arians has been very vocal about saying that OTAs in training camp should be more physical because that's the essence of the game. You should be right out of the gate getting ready for that, conditioning for that, preparing for that, and learning the proper procedure for doing that. Because if you haven't been doing it and all of a sudden you're thrust into a game, you're going to make mental errors. You're not going through the proper like mental reps before each snap of how to do this, what you're going to do, what the other guy's going to do, how to react, and how to keep yourself safe, and also possibly prevent the other guy from getting hurt too. So I mean, do you think the NFL should move towards more contact oriented training camps in OTAs?
Well, I've got two thoughts on it. One, I think that they need to be getting acclimated again. I know that they're professionals. They've been playing for their entire lives, presumably.
Right.
These guys, most of the time, I would say, like, 9 out of 10 times they've been playing since Pop Warner. These guys know what they're doing.
Right.
They still need to get reacclimated to it. Some of them sit by the pool all summer long, and when they come back, they've got to shed the off season weight and start hitting people again. Otherwise, they're going to be shy in the first couple of games. I think that's why we have such a long preseason.
Yeah.
But I think there's no reason why you can't be a little bit more physical in OTAs. That being said, because they are professionals, I don't know. There's something to be said about the fact that if this is a risk for NFL players, primarily NFL players, it's probably because of the caliber and just the sheer velocity of with which these guys are being hit is on another level completely. Like, if I'm at risk for playing football for so many years, it's because I had a few very clear instances where I just had my bell rung. And don't get me wrong, I have those memories, but I know it's nothing compared to some of the people that played in college, some of the people and anybody that played on a practice squad, anybody who played in the pros.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Like I definitely have vivid memories of bull ring drills where I got tapped on the shoulder and went flying in, and my vision was white for 2 or 3 seconds. I came back and I went, holy shit, where am I? What am I doing?
Damn.
Oh yeah, I'm playing football. But the next time that the next play or the next session, essentially, when I'm in the middle of the bull ring, I was having fun 30 seconds later, and I completely forgot about it.
Right.
So it's like, it's never something that stuck with you, other than that kind of like memory of, yeah, that was a big ass hit, but I love this game. It's super fun. But these guys in the NFL, they're blacking out for a solid 30 seconds because they literally got knocked out,
Yeah, no, I mean, there's been player accounts where they say like they've forgotten entire games. Like they were out in the field every snap, going through all the motions, and it was just like not being there at all. Like complete and utter just lapse in memory of everything that happened during that game, which is insane. But,
that is nuts.
But yeah, we know it's a dangerous sport. I mean, they know it's a dangerous sport. It's unfortunate, but also kind of fortunate that we're learning now just how dangerous it is. Because I think in the long run, like, I don't want to say it's going to make players hold back, but I think it's going to, they're going to be going into the pros or even college a little bit more educated about their risks. And I think in the long run, people are still going to play football. They're never not going to stop playing football. I think you're, like we just discussed, you're a perfect example of the fact that parents are still going to let their kids play football. Everybody knows the risks, and I think players are fairly compensated, most of them anyway. That's a whole different discussion. But I don't think it's going to drastically change the game, but I do think it's going to change the equipment, the safety, the procedures, and I think those are all good things. So I personally don't think football is in terrible danger from CTE, but I do think it's going to bring about some changes. So
yeah, I think if anything, I really don't. I'm really hoping there's no rule change or anything like that. But these guys, they know the risks. They know that regardless of head injury, they could get injured in a number of different ways and just be completely messed up for the rest of their lives. The receivers in the NFL, none of them have straight fingers anymore. None of the linemen have. You see those photos of all the guys. Even me, I played in high school, and you can see my fingers all jacked
yeah.
up. But they know what they're getting into. Muhammad Ali was incredible boxer that just happened to. His doctor said he can't say with 100% certainty, but he's pretty damn sure that it's because of his boxing that he has this debilitating illness. But
Could
Does
be. Yeah.
Muhammad Ali regret boxing? Absolutely not.
I doubt he would. Yeah.
These guys have, well, he said so, and his doctors said so too. He wouldn't trade it for the world. He might change his mind now, but like at the time when he found out, he's the greatest of all time. He's
Right.
one of the best boxers ever to ever,
Yeah.
play the
He's a
sport.
legend. He'll always be a legend. He'll always be remembered throughout history. So.
And all these guys that played in the NFL, they're at the upper echelon.
Hmm.
There's so many, so many times I've been sitting with people who had never played football in high school or ever, and they're going, "Wow, that quarterback, whoever it is, Mark Sanchez sucks." I'm like, this guy would run circles around you.
I'm
This guy
guilty of
could,
that. I mean, I was never athletic enough as a kid to play football, and yeah, I mean, yeah, it's fun to make fun of Sanchez for the butt fumble, or Brock Osweiler for being a colossal fuck up. But at the same time, I know like those guys are like way up here, and I'm like underneath the table I'm sitting at right now, like. But I mean, that's part of being a spectator. It's kind of part of the fun of being a spectator is talking shit about guys that are your betters. So
yeah, yeah, it's just so funny for me to hear like this is a dude that could like hit a beer can off the top of the uprights from like 60 yards away, and
right,
and you could maybe throw it like 20 yards.
right, yeah,
Anyway,
yeah,
yeah, I don't think they would have any regrets. I know that they're probably shaken by this news, but I
yeah,
think it's a small percentage. I mean, 100 sounds like a large sample size.
right,
110 or 111, you said.
right,
It sounds like a large sample size. I don't think that until you get up into the thousands and you take a look at how many out of the last, you start looking at brain scans of guys who are currently playing versus, athletes that played in college and aren't playing anymore. Maybe
right.
that might be a good test.
I think it would be more of a fair test and more accurate if you were to take uh, let's say you do like a sample size of like 200 players, and 100 of them show signs of CTE, and 100 players submitted their brains to the study, but did not necessarily exhibit symptoms of CTE. And I think that would be a much more interesting and probably more true, not necessarily more truthful, but more accurate sample size of what's actually going on with NFL players' brains. So it's easy to say, like, yeah, we studied, 200 brains that we thought might have CTE, and most of them did end up having CTE. What would happen if you studied brains that didn't show signs of CTE, but were linemen that took blow after blow every single game, but they never had the dementia or the early signs of Alzheimer's or the confusion or any sort of memory loss, or suffered minimal concussions during their career? Like, what would their brains look like, and would they still exhibit CTE in a posthumous examination? So I think, yeah, I don't know how you convince the families of NFL players or players themselves to donate their brains posthumously to a study like that. But basically, for a fact, if you show the symptoms, chances are you've probably got the disease. But unfortunately, you
Yeah,
can't know for sure until you study the brain after the subject has died. So there's no way to know for sure or treat it or cure it unless you've got it. So it's unfortunate, but yeah. Should we move on?
yeah. Let's go on greener pastures or something a little bit brighter at the end of the
Greener
tunnel. I don't
pastures. All
know.
right. What do you got? I've got
At the
predictions.
end of the
It's
tunnel, I said, "Oh God,
oh no, very poor choice
I'm
of
gonna
words.
I'm gonna drink my
Terrible.
beer."
Drink more beer. Yeah. I'm gonna actually be in New Orleans the week they play against the Lions. They host the
Oh
Lions, so
yeah,
that'd be a fun
I'm
game.
super jealous. I want to go to New Orleans so bad.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm excited for it. I've never been, so I've never been out there. We're gonna be staying right near the French Quarter, I think just south of it, so like right on the river. I've heard it's a blast. I've got really good friends from my high school days that live out there. They've been out there for a number of years now, so hang out with them. See a Saints game. Gonna try and get good seats. See Breeze and what might be maybe his last season, at least as a Saint. I don't know.
I, I don't think he'll retire a Saint. I think.
You think so? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean he's got that
Fair enough.
that kind of fight that Brett Favre had too, but I don't think he's in the same kind of boat. But I don't think he's ready to retire. I think he's still got some time left.
Hmm.
Maybe he would just to spend time with family or something like that. but I
Right.
don't think it will be from like lack of performance because the guy's just an athlete, you know.
Yeah, no, he hasn't slowed down at all. So yeah, but yeah, I'm excited to see him. I think I have this thing where I want to see every NFL team play on their home field and buy a jersey and have the whole home team experience. So I think I'm definitely gonna have to go with the breezy jersey this time around. So I don't know if you at
Heck
home can
yeah.
see. I've just started this goal of seeing all 32 teams, and the Chargers and the Rams are making it really easy because now I can see two of them in a quick weekend trip if I had to. But so far, yeah, I've got Darnell Dockett from the Cardinals, which I've been born and raised here, so the stadium there is a stone's throw. I was actually there just on Saturday for the first day of training camp. I've been to Seattle, so I have a Russell Wilson jersey.
Century Link.
CenturyLink was awesome. There's actually a write-up on the website, theseconddraft.com, of my visit, and it'll be an ongoing series where I kind of write reviews and accounts of visiting all these various stadiums. Peyton Manning, of course, that ill-fated game where he was benched, even though he broke the all-time passing record. And the most recent one was actually last year. I went to the Bengals and Cowboys game at AT&T Stadium. So I think my next write-up will actually be AT&T because it was a phenomenal stadium, but it's very, very strange and very cold and kind of sterile. It feels like suitably and fittingly walking into a giant super church. So it's literally like
Oh
walking
wow.
into, it's like walking into the church of Jerry Jones. It's yeah, you'll read
Oh
about it
man.
later, everybody at home. But beautiful stadium, incredible
Yeah,
stadium,
looking forward to that.
but a very strange experience. But yeah, the jersey for that is Jason Witten because he's fucking awesome. So if there's one player I respect more than any other in the history of the Dallas Cowboys, it's probably Emmitt Smith. But I think number two is probably Jason Witten. He's a cool dude. He's done a lot of really great things, both on and off the field. So yeah, is that about
Cool.
it?
Yeah,
Should
we're
we
gonna have to.
wrap this motherfucker up? Finish our beers?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
should. Yeah, cheers.
Cheers.
We definitely should make it out to LA here soon and catch one of those games because it's not that
Let's make a
far.
plan.
Gotta go.
Yeah. Yeah. Fucking Chargers had to move away from San Diego, so now it's a little more than a 4.5 hour drive. So
Yeah. We'll live tweet the game or something like that. Follow us on
yeah,
Twitter at the second two. That's the two NDDRAFT on Twitter.
it's gonna be down at the bottom. I'll put that on there
Yeah.
with some special effects, some glitter or something. Yeah.
Star wipe in.
Star Wars in. Yeah, it'll be like an iris in, like Star Wars. Yeah, we should actually end this podcast with like an iris wipe, like Star Wars. That'd
I
be
love
legit.
the idea of tacky transitions. They're the best.
Yeah, I feel like every time we change subjects, we should just go to like a star wipe or like a diagonal line wipe or something like that. Yeah, or maybe like
That's
the
good.
1990s where it was like the weird little tile wipe, like that type of shit.
Oh, that was like PowerPoint stuff though. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah. I don't know. You're forcing me to learn After Effects now.
Oh man.
I'll do it. I'll do it for you, and I'll do
I
it
do.
for all you guys at home.
Yeah.
Yeah,
DT's gonna learn all the stuffs.
all the stuff.
Lynda.com. It's there for
Yeah,
you. Linda,
I'm a
we'll appreciate that
lifelong.
sponsorship when it comes through.
Who's
This
that?
is not an ad. I said Lynda.com. Uh,
Lynda.com.
yeah, or Udemy. You know, we're not really picky.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway,
If anybody wants to sponsor us at this point, yeah.
yeah, because today this podcast slash video was sponsored by Deschutes and Firestone Walker. So I mean,
Deschutes Brewery. It's delicious.
it wasn't really. That was a joke. This is not. This is not
No,
food.
yeah. Up to this point, ladies and gentlemen, it might change in the near future. We'll be completely transparent if it does happen. But as of right now, we're just doing this for fun. So
Yep. Kicks.
we don't want to be one of those YouTube channels that asks you to subscribe or comment or any of that. Do whatever the fuck you want. But if you like what you're saying here, we're gonna keep doing it just because we like doing it. So keep coming back and by all means, join in the conversation. Like this isn't just me and Alex just sitting here bullshitting. We're gonna have our friend Paige who's gonna jump in every once in a while. She's a big college football fan, big hockey fan, big pro football fan. We're gonna be doing this on a regular basis. It's gonna be fun, but it's a conversation. So you all are invited to come and sit with us and drink a beer and contribute.
Yeah.
And in the future, we'd love to talk about movies. We're going to do more beer reviews. Of course, we've got our website that's loaded with content now. We're on Twitter making fun of shit, making asses of ourselves. Eventually, at some point, I think we'd like to do live stream videos where you can actually interact with us, and we can interact with you, more importantly,
In
on a
real
regular
time, yeah.
basis. Yeah. So again, it's just about having fun. Like, we're not trying to be PewDiePie and have 15 million viewers and make whatever millions of dollars he has a year or whatever. So yeah, this is the gist of what we're
Yeah,
going to be doing.
feel
So
feel free to comment with whatever you want. Well, tell your friends about it because we want to get more people in this community. We like
right,
bullshitting with people of the same uh, kind of background
disposition, we'll say.
and or disposition. And that's a better way to put it. I like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
same
it's a
same mindset
$5
as the
word.
same mentality.
Right.
But yeah, if you want, it's $5. If you want, yeah, comment, and comment whatever you want. We don't really care. But if it's angry, be prepared for us to vehemently argue you and
Yeah,
tear you
absolutely.
apart with vicious rhetoric, and things like that.
Yeah, because we're the ones with the microphones. Like, yeah, we've got the louder
Yeah,
voice than you.
we've got those. We do have.
But they do have the
Or
mob
ask us
mentality
questions.
over us. So I don't know. Yeah, please ask us
It's true.
questions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Ask us
Anything.
questions. Tell us about things you'd like to hear about, or hear us talk about, or hear us bitch about, or things you'd like to talk directly to us about. Because that's the thesis of the second draft is literally you and your friends sitting down at the pub over a couple of beers and just bullshitting about stuff. Like, that's exactly what we're doing, exactly what we invite all of you to do on a regular basis with us. So,
Yeah, DT and
thank,
I have a very. Oh yeah, we want to thank you for this.
yeah,
That's really
thank you
what
for
we
viewing
wanted
the
to say.
video.
That's.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say we've got a unique background, basically with our respective career paths, but also just that we've both studied film and we both
hmm
love football. I don't know.
Right.
You guys probably like the same stuff as we do. Is all I'm trying to get to.
Yeah. Hopefully. Yeah.
Wherever you come from and whatever teams you like, we welcome you. And yeah,
Exactly.
next episode, pull up a chair, grab a beer, sit down for a listen, and join the conversation.
Exactly. And on that note, we want to thank you guys once again for viewing or listening if you
Thank you.
choose the podcast route. And we will see you again very soon and very frequently. So thank you. And next round's on us.